if I bleed tonight, if I am sad tonight, I don't have a job to find. And if I work tonight, if I'm so tired tonight, I'll fall asleep when I'm on. But
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode number 30 of the Lugs podcast. I'm your host, AJ. As soon as I get my audio figured out, your host. With me, as always, my co-host, Ryan, after a long week of being off. What's going on, Ryan?
Not a whole hell of a lot, AJ. We all know where I was. So, AJ, explain to the viewers, the listeners, the people who subscribe to our wonderful podcast, why we didn't record last week.
Well, this one was actually planned, and it wasn't due to technical difficulties like in weeks past. This time, I had to do some inventory for work. You may remember back in the off-season, we didn't record as much as we wanted to because I had to... Basically, what that entails is, starting after Thanksgiving, we usually start staying late at work, getting everything ready, because we do an in-house inventory. We don't have an outside group come on in and do it. And turned out this one messed up in January, so we had to completely redo it. But we were able to keep our warehouse tight, straight, so we only had to stay late 1 week, and it was the week of our inventory, which was last week. I was hoping it was a week later. Unfortunately, it wasn't. But this one was scheduled. We were going to record last night, but due to our misunderstanding of what Sunday was,
Father's Day.
Due to our own ignorance here.
Yeah, that's true.
We didn't record last night like we said we were going to, so we are here tonight, special Monday edition, the actual nights that we used to record, if you do remember.
That's right.
Well, before we went live, we were actually recording on Monday nights. And
before we went live.
Yeah, before we went live. So, welcome back after a long week away from everybody. Ryan, this is episode 30. I read a stat that most podcasts don't make it past 20 episodes, and we surpassed it by 10.
No kidding. How about that? Thank you to all the listeners, the viewers, people, like I said, subscribe to us. Thank you very much from the bottom of my heart, man. Awesome time. AJ, with that being said, with your inventory, glad to be back here with you.
Finally, not due to technical difficulties.
And due to technical difficulties, but I know I posted some of them, the pictures, the video from going out to MIS. What a great time. Great afternoon. Yeah, a little chilly for a June race out at MIS, but what a great time. We had some amazing seats. I got my new shirt on. William Bowyer represent. Thing is, I lost my can koozie.
What?
Yeah, I got a nice little William Bowyer can koozie when I got the shirt. This decal that says Jeff Gordon on it, not William Byron. A little disappointed in that, but that's another story for another time. But we get back to the car, and Sarah's like, "Where's your can koozie?" I'm searching through my pockets. Oh, probably threw it away in the trash somewhere, so.
Did you say you... I don't know if it cut out there at the end. You kind of just stopped abruptly on my end.
No, I'm done. Yeah, but like I said, it was a good time out there. We are definitely going to renew these seats because they are so good. We are right across the start-finish line, the victory lane pit stop. So it was a really good time.
And we have the man from Lap Traffic joining us, Brandon Crowd, in our chat on the live stream. How's it going, Brandon?
What's up, Brandon?
And Ryan, tell everyone who you met this weekend at MIS.
I met Matt.
I guess would be.
Yeah. I met Matt DiBenedetto. Such a nice guy. I talked to him about the podcast, about how I love how he does all the social media work. And he's like, "What's the name of the podcast?" And I told him the name of the podcast. So hopefully he may, if he remembers, to check us out. So.
Yeah, it was funny because you said that you told him what the name was, and he got a chuckle out of it.
Yeah, he did. And, I didn't tell him exactly how he came up with the name, but he's like, "That's clever." He thought it was a clever name, too. So
there we go. I mean, the Loose Lugs podcast. It's getting around now.
Yes, it is. And then Thursday, I met Matt Kenseth out at the Roush signing with Austin Cindric and Ryan Reed.
Yeah, I was going to get into that a little bit because in our news segment, I have a little thing on Matt Kenseth that was announced last week. But with that being said, Ryan, what did you think of Matt Kenseth, Austin Cindric, and Ryan Reed?
All three guys were very nice. Kenseth was down to earth. You can tell the viewers what I had him sign for. You probably could show them if you have it anywhere near you.
It's in the other display case over here.
Yes, it was the Toyota of the Tide car. And I made the joke about Toyota, and he was like, "No, I gotta sign it. I'm like, "I know you do." I was just harassing him, and he laughed at it. So he was a pretty cool guy. He was down to earth. So he's definitely happy to be back home.
I still can't get over the fact that you got Matt Kenseth to laugh.
Yeah, I was too.
He never shows much emotion.
And I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, like I said, he's a nice guy. He was down to earth. He's happy to be back at Roush. He's happy to be helping the organization out, though.
Well, that's awesome, man. I'm glad you had a great time over there. What'd you guys do this weekend? I know you had a party last night for Money in the Bank. Another reason why we couldn't record last night.
Yeah, my buddy Dave. It was just Dave out of all the people I invited over, not coming over. All good. So just Dave came over. We ordered some pizza. Just watched Money in the Bank. Enjoyed it. And then Saturday had a diaper party for our buddy Drew. Him and his wife Kristen are about ready to have a baby girl.
Now you said that this weekend that what was the guy's name? Your neighbor, who I always just make a joke about just because of the name. It just sounds funny to me.
My neighbor.
Down the street, he usually comes to your wrestling parties.
Tom. Yeah, Tom. Yeah, good old Tom.
Good old Tom.
No Tom.
No Tom. Ass.
I'm like, hey Tom, I'm having people over for the pay-per-view. No, I'm going over to another buddy's house. I'm like, whatever, enjoy.
Brandon just said Braun Strowman. How about that? The monster in the briefcase. That's going to get overused.
Oh, of course it is. And you know what? Braun Strowman does not need the case.
No, but I mean, at least it kind of guarantees him getting the strap at some point soon.
Why not give it to The Miz to set up the Daniel Bryan feud, or give it to Samoa Joe to set up the AJ Styles feud?
Personally, I like the heels, so I would have liked to have had Kevin Owens win it, but...
Dude, he took a nasty bump.
Like everyone in our group chat that we're in, he died.
Oh, he did die. I think he did die, so...
Like, you never heard from him after that.
No, you did not, so...
So, Ryan, we've got a jam-packed show here. We got 2 truck races to go over, 2 Xfinity races to go over, and then the Michigan race. What do you say we dive on into this thing?
Definitely.
Let's go into it. Gas and go. All right, so we're kind of going to go by series here in chronological order. We had the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series at Texas. And it was the same weekend that the IndyCar Series was there, kind of the same thing they do every year at Texas during this weekend. And Johnny Sauter, your winner, man, he is on a tear this year.
He is. Hey, you could call him the Kevin Harvick of the Truck Series.
Yeah, he is. Man, that 21 truck, I thought that at this point in the year, Noah Gragson would have a couple more wins than he has. It's kind of like what Martin Truex did last year. I just think now it's Sauter running away with it.
Oh, of course. I don't think there's anybody that's going to catch him right now.
I don't think so either. They've had that truck dialed up all season long. And even the races he's lost, he contended for.
The 16 truck has been pretty strong, too. Brett Moffitt's truck, he's been pretty strong this year, too.
There was a truck that came up that weekend in Texas that I thought had a great day, and it was Stuart Friesen.
Oh, of
he
course.
Finished second. And I've been big on Stuart Friesen this year. And, wow, lost my train of thought, right in the middle of it.
You've been big on Stuart Friesen this year.
I've been big on Stuart Friesen this year because it's one of those lower teams that doesn't get much of the spotlight or the attention on TV. And he's up there running with the leaders, the points leaders. You know?
Every week. I mean, go figure the week I pick him at Dover and oops.
You know, in our chat, Brandon just had said Sauter 22 points in 9 races, Harvick 25 and 15.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, he's going right on that Harvick line.
Yes, he is. Pretty impressive.
So, man, that 21 truck. I'm happy because I'm a Sauter fan. You know?
I love Sauter, too. Crafton, I like him. He's a good guy, too. And, man, they still haven't found it.
You know, Crafton had a little bit of struggles this weekend.
At Iowa, yes, he
does. With Sauter, nonetheless. We'll dive into that here in a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
So, my question to you, Ryan, will Sauter win the championship?
Oh, hands down, easily.
Because, you know, once we get into the playoff time, sometimes different names emerge. I don't see anybody beating Sauter.
I don't either.
No. Your stage winners in this one, because as I was going back through the race, because, you know, it's been a little bit since then, I had to go back over it and through it. There wasn't really many points to hammer in this one. So your stage winners, Stuart Friesen's first stage, Grant Enfinger's second stage, and then your eventual race winner was Johnny Sauter. Your top 5, and there's a surprising name up here that we're not used to seeing so much, especially in the top 3. You had Johnny Sauter, Stuart Friesen, Justin Haley is the man I'm talking about, and Grant Enfinger right behind him. Matt Crafton rounding out your top 5. What are you thinking so far this year with the Truck Series?
Sauter's to lose. Like we've said, I mean, it's his to lose. I mean, I'd like to see, it come down to the final race at Homestead, get them, the 4 best trucks out there.
I agree with you.
To see who has it, so.
I agree with you. And like I had stated earlier, it's really been a disappointing season so far for Noah Gragson.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you kind of taken over that ride that Christopher Bell was in as the top guy at KBM. And now you're kind of in a situation where you've got 1 win to show for it. And Sauter's kicking the tail of everyone in the field.
That he is.
And even the emergence of Brett Moffitt has been something special. Patrick just said in our chat, Sauter seemingly has had no challenges so far, and I can't say I disagree with that.
I mean, like I said, the 16 truck, but he'll have a great week, but then he'll have a bad week where he finishes 25th, further down even. So Sauter hasn't had that yet this year.
Sauter's been on a Sunday drive on a Friday night.
That he is.
Yeah. Moving on to Iowa this past weekend. Cup off for Father's Day, which we forgot.
Yeah.
And Brett Moffitt survives the video game style move from Noah Gragson.
Well, it was a great move, great effort by Gragson. I thought he was going to stick it, and all of a sudden he's sliding right up the track, smacks the wall, and Moffitt just moseys on by. He's like, thank you.
Did it not remind you of the Carl Edwards, Jimmy Johnson deal? I think it was at Auto Club or Las Vegas many years ago.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Where Edwards drove it in deep, slammed it off the wall, almost made it go through for the win.
Yes, he did.
And it just couldn't come through. And he said in the end, he goes, I tried it in a video game a couple times. I just figured to see
if
it worked.
Yeah, a little bit difference between the video game and being behind the wheel of a car, so.
Yeah, I thought Gragson made the only move he could there because Moffitt seemingly there towards the end of the race. I didn't write down how many laps he led, but I can surely look right here to tell you. You know, Moffitt led 76 laps of only 200. The second lap leader was Stuart Friesen with 48. So no one was catching Moffitt, and Gragson got his shot and did what he could with it. I got to say, for what we just said about him not having as many wins as we thought he'd have this far into the season, you got to love the strategy and the move.
Of course you do. I don't know if it's just me, but man, do I want to see a Cup Series race at Iowa.
I do too. And, you know, the funny thing is they promote it as the fastest short track.
Uh-huh.
But for some reason, when I was watching the Xfinity race yesterday, why does it look like they're going slow?
I know that. They just look like they're going like 35
like Saturday
miles an hour.
short track speed.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I mean, your half mile, not even your half mile tracks, your
little third tracks,
quarter
too.
mile tracks.
Yeah, that was something though. The racing we had this weekend at Iowa,
It was
double
perfect.
thumbs up.
It was everything
Exactly.
we wanted, and unfortunately, the attendance didn't show it. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, granted, yeah, it was like in the high 90s there yesterday.
It's also Father's Day weekend, so
Yeah, it's true.
some of the naysayers need to take into effect some of these other things that are going on. And, it's also battling up against some big sports that went on this weekend, like the U.S. Open and the World Cup, that people
World
want to be
Cup.
around to see. This is one of those tough weekends. I think NASCAR kind of knows going into it that it's going to be, it's not going to be max capacity.
No. And I think that's why they switched, because normally they run the Michigan race on Father's Day weekend, and then they stopped it, and then the drivers are like, hey, let's just run on Father's Day weekend. We love running out there. We love the track. I think they trust it, like you said, because the U.S. Open Fox has, and obviously the World Cup going on right now, which Fox bought it. So smart move by them, putting the smaller series on this weekend.
A little side note, getting a little off track here. Do you think Fox is kind of kicking themselves for taking the World Cup and the U.S. not being in it?
Yes.
Like,
I guarantee.
years ago when this TV deal was put into place, you were like, oh yeah, we'll show the USA, we're going to have great ratings for it.
Yeah.
And no America in it.
I don't think the ratings will be too bad for it. I mean, they are starting early, but then they do the recap later on in the day. But how about that? Speaking of World Cup, we got home and I'm watching it, and Ronaldo had that penalty kick where he curved it around the guys that were that was cool to see. I definitely enjoyed.
I saw the clip when I had a break at work at my desk of the kick, and my jaw literally hit the floor.
You know what it is? Ronaldo watches NASCAR because it made a left turn.
So getting back onto it, Ryan, we're talking Brett Moffitt and his win Saturday.
Yep.
Don't you kind of get this feeling he's an underrated truck driver?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think he gets enough credit for what he's done this year.
No, what is it? 2 wins now?
Two
I
wins
think.
this year.
Yeah, 2 wins. Yep. But like I said, it's like he either wins or he, 20th, somewhere like that, top 15. But he's one of them guys that possibly could challenge Sauter for the championship.
Hey, 2 wins. I mean, the only guy I think in the field that has multiple wins that's not named Johnny Sauter or a Cup driver. He's the only guy who's got the real shot right now.
I have a special guest on me. I don't think you can see him, though, but Binks has joined the podcast tonight. There he is. Hey.
First off, thank you, Dub, for saying U.S. soccer sucks, Viva la Portugal. And Patrick said Brett is underrated in general, and like we said, man. Dub also says, Ryan, put a hat on your head.
Thanks, Dub.
So, another driver that you don't get to hear too much about was Harrison Burton, and he led 30 laps and a third-place finish, nonetheless.
Yeah.
Good run for him. I didn't see him on the entry list for this weekend, unfortunately.
I didn't either.
How about the Todd Gilligan's Island? Todd Gilligan wreck early on in the race.
Yeah, that was we were over at Sean's apartment for that diaper party, and I'm looking through Twitter, everything like that, and all of a sudden they're like, yeah, the the truck was some damage, and he had some damage.
But I mean, he bounced back.
Yes, he did very well, nicely too.
He's kind of on that spot where he kind of needs a win to get into the playoffs.
That he does.
But he's putting together some solid finishes.
That he is. And I'm looking over the results right now. How about Jesse Little?
I do have him in there under my notable finishers. You know what? Let me just get through real quick. We had multiple big ones in this race, including Matt Crafton being in one of them.
Yes, he was. That was a hard lick.
Surprise for a short track that we had as many multiple car wrecks, and not multiple car wrecks just being like 2 cars. We had like 3+ cars in some of these wrecks. But your top 5, your stage winners: first stage, John Hunter Nemechek; second stage, Stuart Friesen; and your third final stage race winner was Brett Moffitt. Your top 5: Brett Moffitt, Noah Gragson, Harrison Burton, Todd Gilligan, and Johnny Sauter. But your notable finishers: Ryan, 6th place, Jesse Little. Awesome run.
Yes, it was.
You know, the first time I think he finished in the top 10 this year, we mentioned it, and how he's the son of Chad Little.
Yes.
But continuing on, you had Christian X finishing 8th place. And I put my last one down a little bit. 12th place, Justin Fontaine. So some great runs for some guys that you don't normally see running up in the top 15.
Exactly. And see, look at what a beauty of it is not to have a Cup driver in these races. And same with Texas.
It makes for better racing. It really does.
It does.
It really does. Your standings following Iowa is Johnny Sauter, Noah Gregson, Brett Moffitt, Stuart Friesen, Grant Infinger, Matt Crafton, Ben Rose, and Justin Haley. Your next race is this Saturday, Gateway Motor Speedway or Motorsports Park. I'm not too sure what it's called.
I think Motorsports Park.
It sounds better. It sounds good. We'll go with that.
I think this. I'll check here for you.
It's at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on FS1.
Gateway Motorsports Park.
Okay, see? We threw it in there and it worked.
Mm-hmm.
They changed the name in a matter of seconds.
Yes, it is.
Moving on, we got the NASCAR Xfinity Series. They were at Michigan 2 weeks ago, and Austin Dillon wins the rain-shortened race. Ryan, I saw a lot of people upset on Twitter after the race that it seems like all of Austin Dillon's wins come with controversy.
Yeah, the rain shortened. I mean, you can't predict Mother Nature, unfortunately.
You play your cards right, though.
Yeah, exactly, and he did, and he played the cards right, won the race. I thought the package itself that they ran there, amazing.
Oh, it was awesome.
Thought the racing was great. You're going to see it in the Cup car in August at Michigan. I will be there for it, obviously.
It's not official yet, but hopefully.
Oh, it's coming. It's coming. And you got all these smartphones now with all this great technology. Hey, the weather's coming in. Hey, we're going to do our pit stop. Get out there. And he did. You can't knock the guy for doing that. The problem is still it was a Cup guy who went in an Xfinity race.
Well, understandable, but it's Austin Dillon. He's got a pretty big following behind him, and it's not like Kyle Busch winning, if you know what I'm getting at here.
Yeah, oh yeah.
People get annoyed seeing Kyle Busch win because he does it all the time in the minor leagues. Austin Dillon, on the other hand, I think this is only his 4th or 5th Xfinity Series win, and it just so happened to be because of rain. Like, it's not something you can predict, like you said. You can definitely play the strategy, but it's not something that you can predict happening.
Exactly.
Now, I will say, he's had a handful of rain-shortened Xfinity and truck wins. He had at Charlotte last year, everyone running out of gas, or him having enough in the tank somehow to get the win. Then you had the Daytona 500 this year where, you know, the Almirola incident, was he right what he did? Was he not right? Mm-hmm. You all know my stance, and I thought he was A-okay with what he did there. You know, you're going for the Daytona 500. You want to win that race. There is no second place. No one remembers second place.
The most silent a crowd has ever been for a winner at Daytona.
Ryan, we didn't get to upload this episode when we did the Daytona one, but you can hear a pin drop.
Oh, I know. That's crazy.
Just like that, pin drop.
Minus the noise of the cars, everything. It just...
Middle fingers in the air.
Yeah,
there was a bunch of people clapping. It kind of felt like when Earnhardt won Bristol.
Oh, of course.
It was quiet, except for the boos and the middle fingers.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You know. But hey, you know, it's a win.
It is. A win is a win.
There's not much to really go over in this race because it was only 91 laps. I think it was a scheduled 150. Was the scheduled?
It's a 250 miler.
Oh, so
the LT printing.
So they got through most of it then, because I think that would put it at, what, a 100-lap race?
150, I think, if I'm not mistaken. 2-mile track. Yeah, 150 laps.
Okay, so...
Or 130 or something like that, something weird.
They got both stages in, which is why they were...
Yeah, what they need to do, they need to complete 2 stages, and they did. But what did you personally think of the package? Did you like it?
That package needs to be at more tracks
than
just Michigan, than just Indy, just Pocono. I've been a big fan of the package where I know some people are... You're either all for the package, or you're completely against it. There is no in-between, like, hey, it's good here, but not here.
Mm-hmm.
You either want it or you don't. And
go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think, especially in the Xfinity series, you need to start bringing this package to multiple tracks, because this is where you can really test it and get your data from.
Yep. And the most of the reviews from the drivers, they enjoyed the package from what I saw on Twitter, everything like that. But I don't agree with this guy much, but Jeff Burton said it best. Put the restrictor plate package on them, but keep the spoiler the same.
Yep.
And see what happens.
Yep, I agree with that.
I do too.
In this race, Ryan, we had Kyle Busch and Christopher Bell wrecking early into each other.
Yeah, we did. I laughed. I missed it because I didn't think I got Fox Sports 2 on my cable. So I go to my Fox Sports Go app, and they're like, okay, the LTP, or the, what was it, the LTI printing 250. So I'm like looking at on my Fox Sports Go app, and it says I get it. So I'm searching through the standard definitions. There's Fox Sports 2 right there. So got to watch it. It was pretty good. It was, like I said, entertaining race. And then, like you said, Bell and Busch getting taken out early.
Taken out early, but it didn't stop Kyle Busch from leading 29 laps in this thing.
No, it didn't.
And he also finished 6th place, so there's everyone's favorite Xfinity Series driver right there.
Yeah. Yeah, I got the results right in front of me, actually. Now you mention it. What is it with restrictor plates and Ryan Reed?
I can tell you what, he's got to be loving the package. He's got to be like the head guy for him.
Exactly. He's probably going to be the guy in front of the NASCAR office with a picket sign. More restrictor plates.
Yeah, we preach here on the Loose Lugs podcast and more short tracks. Ryan Reed's outside preaching more restrictor plates.
Exactly.
He can't wait for them to build another 2.5 mile oval that they can just go full speed into the corners.
Yep. Hold down the gas and don't hit the brakes.
Another guy who had a tough day was Elliott Sadler, who finished 30th in this one.
Yeah, and he had a little contact with Alex Bowman, who was in the 23. And I've been watching racing for as long as I can remember. And I don't think I've ever seen Elliott Sadler, like...
He lost his cool big time.
Yeah, I've never seen him do it.
You know, but we kind of saw that side of Elliott Sadler last year during Homestead.
Yeah, the last year. Yep.
You know, and at Homestead, I definitely don't blame him.
Oh, I don't either.
It was between him and Byron for the championship. They were both racing each other pretty hard. I mean, banging off of each other in the corners, coming down the exits of the turns, and it made for a very entertaining race. This was a very entertaining race up until the rain.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I think Sadler has a right to be mad, but I also don't. I'm kind of on the fence.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, just because we complain all the time, Ryan, that Cup Series overpopulate the Xfinity Series.
Oh, yeah.
And this is a situation where Bowman's a young guy trying to turn some laps, get used to the track a little bit. I don't have a problem with Alex Bowman racing somebody hard.
No, I don't either.
Racing you for position. I have problems with Kevin Harvick, Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch, Joey Logano, Brad Keselowski racing Xfinity Series regulars hard for a win.
Oh, of course.
Because these are guys trying to make a name for themselves. Your name's already established. Some of you are already Cup champions. You know, kind of don't let other people win. That's completely not the opposite of what I'm saying. But don't be an ass about it.
I mean, it's like what we said about, you know, like we say, I mean, they're for sponsorships, like the Kyle Busches, the Harvicks, Keselowski's, Logano. They're there for the sponsor, and that's it. Well, obviously to win the race too. But like I said, I don't like the Cup guys still there.
The best way I can put it, Ryan, is if you're gonna race and you're gonna win, fine. Don't wreck one of these guys who's here every week to get.
Who's going for a championship? Who's going for a championship?
Exactly.
Who is in the playoff picture right now as we speak? And
that's when I get frustrated with it a little bit. Moving on down the line, how about Kaz Grala, man? The story of the
Man.
year in the Xfinity Series, leading laps. Great
Dude, the
run
crowd
of the
was-
Fury race car team.
Crowd was going nuts too when he was leading. My buddy Ryan was out there, and I was, I messaged him back and forth about the race. He's like, "Dude, this place is going nuts for Kaz when he took the lead." Everybody knows it's an underfunded team, and he goes out there and was leading. Wish the rain would have came just a little bit earlier for him to get that win.
I've got a debut of a new shirt I'm doing next Tuesday when we record. It actually just shipped out today. If you follow us on Twitter, you already know that it is. I pre-ordered the Kaz Grala shirt, and the reason behind it is usually I cheer for the bow tie, and I usually stay with the JRM side of things.
Mm-hmm.
I can't not get behind this story of Kaz Grala. He's a guy who deserves his ride. I was very vocal about that when they pulled his contract. So it's my duty at this point to get behind the man and start paying it forward, so to speak.
Man, he had a great run until the end there, but where did he end up finishing? Let me get that here.
Unfortunately, he finished, I believe it was 13th he finished. Nope, 12th. 12th
Yep.
he finished. But it does no shame to the fact that he got to lead 5 laps in an underfunded team race
Yep.
car.
And you know what them guys in that team are like? Hey, we can go out there and compete with these guys. Let's go.
Yeah, and like I was telling you a couple weeks ago, it's cool because it's like Tony Uri Jr. is a part of it, and us as junior fans, we're very familiar with the Uri family. And Uri
Yes,
Jr.,
senior.
or Tony Uri Sr., like if he was still Junior's crew chief for a couple years after he moved away from it, Junior would have had a championship. I really do think
That he would have.
I really do think so.
Or if Letarte didn't go away.
Yeah, that too. Unfortunately, NBC screwed our chances on that one.
Thanks, NBC. So that's why they're putting Junior in the booth.
Yeah, they're repairing them together again. So, Ryan, your stage winners, Kyle Busch, Elliott Sadler, and Austin Dillon, your eventual race winner. Your top 5, Austin Dillon, Daniel Hemrick, Cole Custer, great run, Ryan Reed, and Paul Menard. Moving on to Iowa, where the Cup had off, once again reminding you, because we obviously forgot. Justin Allgaier put a ass-whooping on the field, winning on Sunday yesterday. And the funniest thing about it, let me just go through some of the stats here. Allgaier led 182 laps of, I believe it was a 200-lap race. 250-lap race. And at a short track, that's pretty much leading every lap.
Pretty much so.
And every time Christopher Bell would get right up to Allgaier, something would happen that he just couldn't pull off the pass. And the one that comes to mind is towards the end of the race when he almost had the pass for the lead complete. If they could have just got out of the turn and the caution flag flew.
Yep.
That's frustrating.
I bet. Yes, it is. Going back to the start, it was the start of the race. They're going around, and all of a sudden they're coming down to the end of the stage. All of a sudden, Allgaier out of nowhere just flies up there, passes Cindric, who I thought had a strong car for the first stage, and then the car just went away.
Yeah, the end of stage 1 was, to me, the best part of the race that wasn't Bell and Allgaier battling. I mean,
it was.
We had some great racing this weekend, like you said.
I love it. They can go high, middle, low. It does not matter. They can run anywhere at Iowa.
I'll tell you what, that inside line on a restart couldn't go nowhere.
No, it couldn't.
Everyone on the inside line, it looked like they kept spinning their tires on the restarts, and it was just killing all momentum. And that also played into a reason why Christopher Bell couldn't pull it off.
No.
He was forced to the low side the entire race, and Allgaier running about, what did you say, 3/4 up the racetrack?
About that.
Killed any run.
Yes, it did. Oh, yeah.
So Allgaier runs the race very well. Kaz Grala, we're talking about him again. Ryan, he was quickest in practice. I forget which practice it was he was quickest in, but he was quickest in one of the practices. I believe it was final practice.
Yeah, I think it was early practice. Because I think Bell or Hemrick were faster in one of the practices, I thought.
Well, he finished 10th, Ryan, and the crazy thing is, in what was a month of him being with Fury race cars,
Yep.
he has finished in the top 10, 3 times now?
Oh, yeah.
3 out of 5 races he's been with them?
And I think if I heard correctly, if he wins, he's going to be playoff eligible with this team.
He's actually one spot outside of the playoff race.
Yeah, uh-huh.
And a couple more strong finishes could put him right up there. I think it's Ross Chastain that has the final spot.
Yeah.
Keep finishing in ahead of him. He'll be fine.
Exactly.
Ryan, the racing was solid all day long.
Yep.
Finish of stage 1 was awesome. What better way to have an Xfinity race on a Sunday when you have nothing to fall back on with the Cup Series? Like, this was great. I thought the whole weekend was great.
I did too. And this is why I said it before we started. I want the Cup Series to run at Iowa.
Man, I agree with you.
Have it be a Saturday night. Do a Thursday, Friday, Saturday show. All night races.
Yep, get all 3 series there at the same time. That'd be cool. It'd be cool to see.
I think Trucks and Xfinity go back there one more time. I think they do a double dip there.
Is it in the playoffs they do it in?
I think it might be right down at the playoffs. I'm not entirely sure.
I'm trying to think back in my head too, and I can't remember.
Yeah, they change the schedule every year. But here is a question I propose to you and our fellow listeners today. If they do add an Iowa race, what track would they get rid of a race that has 2 of them at?
2. I don't know. I'm trying to think of the tracks that they go to twice.
There's Pocono, Kansas.
Well, there you go. If you said Pocono in there, it's got to be one of the Poconos. It seems to be like everyone's bottom line when it comes to cutting a race, and everyone says one of the Poconos, so I'll just go with that for...
Well, because they got rid of one New Hampshire, didn't they? There only one there now.
Yeah, they did do that.
I don't know. A 1.5 mile track is what I get rid of. One of the ones they go twice to.
Well, you have a huge vendetta against 1.5 mile tracks.
Unfortunately, I do.
That's why you'd get rid of one of them.
I don't know what one though. I mean, don't they run twice at Kansas?
I'm not entirely sure. I don't want to say yes to that because I'm not sure.
Because where Kansas was a playoff race.
Moving on down the line. I think I went back a page on accident.
You might have.
I'm going to start saying stage winners. It's going to be truck guys, and everyone's going to be confused. Your stage winners: first stage, Justin Allgaier; second stage, Justin Allgaier; and the final stage, Ryan. Do you have any guess?
I can't get Justin Allgaier.
Hey, you got it. We've been saying that a lot this year. You guys sweeping stages.
Yeah, we have.
Patrick confirmed. Yes, Kansas is one of the tracks they go twice to.
Yep. Why not? I mean, yeah, everybody suggests Pocono. Either Pocono or Kansas.
Yep, I wouldn't mind getting rid of a Kansas, and I wouldn't mind getting rid of a Kansas on the Cup side. And I might be the minority in saying that. I'd rather just go there for the night race.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd like to put another track in there twice. You know?
I would too. But like I said, what's that?
I was just going to start going to the top 5, but go ahead with your point. Continue it.
I know Rusty Wallace was built that track and all that. I'm surprised he hasn't been like, hey, look at the racing we're getting out here with these Xfinity trucks. Even IndyCar puts on a good show when they're out there. Why not?
Yeah.
Put it in for a Cup race.
Ryan, do they go to Michigan twice?
Yes, they do.
I'm trying to think of like another track you'd want to put in there twice. I'm not sure.
And people are always saying, "Oh, we should get rid of a Michigan race. We should get rid of a Michigan race."
Hey, I missed the days where we ran 2 Atlanta races in a year.
Yeah, they're not going to get rid of 2 Michigan. They're not going to get rid of a Michigan race due to the fact it is the Motor City. It is the home of Ford. It's Chevy. They're not going to do it.
And it's one of the biggest spectated races, attendance-wise. It's one of the biggest races they have every year. They're not going to take that away twice.
Granted, there was the attendance was bad because of the weather.
Yeah, the weather completely played a part in it.
It played a huge part in it. And the fact of the matter is that I forgot who it was for ESPN that wrote the article about it, trying to get rid of a Michigan race. Okay, first of all, you work for ESPN. You don't care any more about NASCAR now that you guys don't cover it. You don't cover racing in general anymore. Oh, no, just take that back, F1. But you're going to write an article like, look at the weather. It was cloudy all day. I was surprised they got what they did in the race, to be honest with you, because it looked like it was going to rain all day. I had my sunglasses on, too, so I was hoping for sun.
Did your head have sunglasses on?
No, why? Because it needs it?
It's very reflective. I don't want anyone else getting blinded.
I can't do anything about it.
No, I'm not referring to that. I was just saying out at the track. No.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I had a hat on at the track. I had my junior hat on.
Your top 5, Ryan: Justin Allgaier, Christopher Bell, Daniel Hemrick, Colt Custer, Brandon Jones. Out of your notable finishers, 6th place, Riley Herbst. 7th place, Ty Majeski. And another bad week for Elliott Sadler, finishing in the 28th position. That team's got to get something going here.
Yeah, they do. I think he cut down a tire. I want to say he cut down a tire and smacked the wall, was 4 laps down before the end of stage 1 and could never recover.
No, that team's they're kind of in that slump. Most teams go through a slump point in the year, and I think they're just in theirs now. When we get to Darlington, though, that's my pick. Now.
Yes, there is.
So, your standings following Iowa is Tyler Reddick, Christopher Bell, Justin Allgaier, Elliott Sadler, Colt Custer, Daniel Hemrick, Brandon Jones, Ryan Truex, Matt Tiff, Ryan Reed, Austin Cindric, and Ross Chastain. Your next race, Saturday, June 30th, 2 weeks away. 2 weeks away? Yeah, 2 weeks away. In Chicago on NBCSN. Don't forget, this is the last week for Fox. Moving on.
Yep. Iowa was the last race for Fox for the Xfinity.
Yep. Yes, it was. And the Truck Series has FS1 all year, if you didn't know, by all the advertising they do every week.
I'm glad that they kept the truck race. So.
Yeah, because I don't think they could have done the 3 series like that, because the nice thing about what Fox does is they have a different broadcast team to run the Xfinity and the Truck Series. Generally, they're at the same track.
Yeah.
NBC uses their same team for both Xfinity and NASCAR and the Cup Series.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of surprised that they do that, though. So, you know what? The only time they do it different, though, is like when Xfinity's at Mid-Ohio, and then the Truck Series is at Michigan with the Cup Series that weekend. They'll have, like, Dave Burns down there and Dale Jarrett or what's that dude's name?
Dale Jarrett in the booth, man.
I do too, man. He was great in the booth.
He was good to listen to.
Yes, he was.
So going on to the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series at Michigan, the race that we didn't get to go over last week. Bowyer. Clint, big-time Bowyer. Clint, the streak is over, Bowyer. Wins his second race of the year. Ryan, before the season started, did you ever think Clint Bowyer would win one, let alone 2 races this season?
I thought he could have won one this year, but let alone 2. Unreal.
And this is, naturally, it was a rain-shortened win. Kevin Harvick had the best car all race long. It was a battle. The battle was between SHR all day with Kyle Harvick.
Kyle Harvick.
With Kurt Busch and Kevin Harvick. Yep. And Clint Bowyer made the call at the end to stay out.
That he did.
Gets him the win. Rain shortened. And his reaction to it is better than any other person when they win a race.
Oh, his Twitter page the next day. Oh man, I dreamed that we won. It was like something like I dreamed we won Michigan. Woke up this morning, head hurting,
with a
sandals. Yeah, with the headache. The sandals and the on the front porch. Brother missing or something like that. Oh, it was just too funny.
Wife pissed.
Yeah, that wife was pissed. Yeah.
I'm telling you what, man. Out of any guy in that garage area, that's the dude I want to have a beer with right there.
Oh, hell yeah.
He may not be my favorite driver, but I'll tell you right now, that's the man I want to drink a beer with.
Well, you remember how it was the last show we recorded that I forgot. Fox was saying that it's going to be Truex, Harvick, Busch for the championship 3.
Mm-hmm.
Why not throw Bowyer into that fourth mix now?
You could now. And a lot of those races in the championship hunt, Ryan, are, fuel mileage races. Give it a shot.
That they are?
The funniest thing I thought with this...
Uh-oh.
What's that?
Yeah, why not? Give it a...
You messing up a little bit on your end?
Yeah, I got it. It's doing the little... Yeah.
I think I got you back, though.
Yeah, we're back. We're good. All right, we're good.
The funniest thing with this, Ryan, was this was the second Bowyer win because of weather.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Martinsville, because of the snow, was moved on to Monday. And now this race was rain shortened.
I tell you what, though, even though it was a rain-shortened race, it was entertaining.
Yeah, it was. You were there. I mean, you
yeah,
the best opinion of it because you were actually there to see it.
Well, I had a few ginger ales, so to speak.
Yeah, right.
Few Miller Lights.
Sarah's maybe.
Sarah's giving me this evil eye right now, so she's pretty much saying a few. You had a ton, so anyways.
Drink a 12-pack all by yourself. Anyone else drinking these damn things?
Well, it was just her and I that went out there. Nobody else went with us, but she got me this 50th anniversary MIS cooler that came with 5 beers and a water.
Oh, perfect.
We get there, I crack one open, take 2 into the track. Next thing you know, she's like, "Yeah, you can go get the cooler now." I'm like, I thought I'd have to wait till you're able to purchase alcohol. So we go to the stand, and the guy's like, "No, you can do it right now." And he's like, "What are you drinking?" "Miller." Those are gone by the time we got back to the car, and I'm like, "Uh-oh."
Ryan,
and then I can't koozie with it, so I can't koozie with it somewhere. So,
damn it, Ryan.
Yeah, no, but I don't know if it was because I was there, but I thought that was an entertaining race, and yeah, good racing all over. Cars are flying around that place right now.
I didn't think they were going to get it in, to be perfectly honest with you. I even messaged you that, dude. I was like, hey, get ready to come back Monday.
Yeah, oh yeah. We were ready to come back Monday. We took the day off work, too.
There was, for some reason, man, whoever was working on that track that weekend, they did a fantastic job, the whole crew. I think they had 2 hours?
Yeah, it was just under 2 hours. They had Titans. They had the jet dryers as well. Because we're go up to get ready to get into the seats and everything like that before they're doing driver intros as we're walking in, and I figured, they're doing driver intros, probably going to get this thing in early or try to start a little early than normal time, which is all right. I'm glad. If you want to try to beat the weather, go for it. Get that vortex going. But so we're underneath the grandstands as it rains, and there's a bin full of cans that's full. So people are trying to stack their beer cans. This is what people do at a race, folks. And they had it up, I think 8 or 9 high one time, and then it went down, and I'm like, whoops. But yeah, that was fun to watch. So, and then they had the track dry, and then we went racing.
That is a good one, man. There's some funny things you'll see at a rain delay at a NASCAR track.
Oh,
you just look
yeah.
around.
And I tell you what, you know who had a strong, solid run that day?
Who's that?
4-car. He was in the top 10 the majority of the day until that final pit stop where every race weekend they're taking 2 tires.
You know, you took my 13th bullet point away from the race. William Byron ran in the top 10 most of the day, finished B13. But, like you said, he had a great run, I thought. And then, just because of the rain and the late pit stop, it just put him back there. It's unfortunate, but... So
why didn't they take tires? He's been doing it all year. Grubb's been doing it all year. It's okay. I've seen a couple of my drivers win before, so it's all good.
Well, just moving on down the line here, the gamble at the Firekeepers Casino 400, nonetheless, paid off for Clint Bowyer, along with the rain dance.
Yeah. What's that?
I was going to say, Bubba Wallace and David Reagan, though, made contact early on the race. Reagan's day was done. He was actually the only car to finish due to an accident, and he wasn't too happy on the radio.
No, he was not.
I don't know if you had the scanners or anything out, but he was not happy.
No, I don't own a scanner. I like the sound.
See, that's me too. Like, if I could do like an earbud in one ear and then just the sound in the other, like that'd be perfect.
Exactly. That'd be amazing right there. So
this one you missed, but I don't know if you heard it afterwards. The Logano and Kyle Busch radio fight. Did you hear it down the back straight? And it was Logano behind Kyle. He smacked Kyle in the rear a couple times. And finally, Kyle comes over the radio and says, if he does that one more time, there's no telling what I'm going to do to him.
Really?
Yeah, they were not happy with each other.
They're never happy with each other, so.
No, I could care less, to be perfectly honest with you.
I tell you what, there was a lot of incidents. Kyle Larson spinning, coming out of 4, took up a chunk of grass too, which was pretty cool to see.
You know, I've got that a little bit down the line. Actually, it's my very next bullet point. It was Larson somehow didn't destroy his car spinning through the grass.
Hydroplane. He hydroplaned.
You know, we've seen it time and time again when one of these cars gets into the grass after a rain that makes that car all wet. That splitter digs in and just tears the car up. We've seen it numerous times.
It didn't.
No, like you're saying, it just didn't. He got
it happened just a little ways down from us, but we saw the grass come up and everything like that. He's coming by really slow and all that. I'm like, that's what it's all about right there. So, but good job, Steven.
I said he was my pick and had a rough day.
Yeah. My picks actually fared pretty good.
Yeah,
Keselowski and Byron.
Forget your picks.
Keselowski was 6th. Byron was 13th.
Yep. You had the better day out of the two of us, needless to say. And plus, you were at the race, so.
Oh, yeah. Yep. I tell you what, though, we were there and watching that 48 car, and they did not have it at all.
No, you know what? Let me go through this real quick, and we're going to dive into that, Ryan. Your stage winners, first stage was Ryan Blaney, second stage was Kevin Harvick, and your race winner was Clint Bowyer. Your top 5, Clint Bowyer, Kevin Harvick, Kurt Busch, Kyle Busch, Paul Menard. Your notable finishers, and this is where we're going to dive into it a little bit here. 11th place was Eric Almirola, 18th place was Martin Truex Jr., and 20th, Jimmy Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
And just when you think that team is starting to turn the corner, they take 3 steps back.
That they do.
I just don't understand it. I don't get it. That team is somewhere way off in the distance. Not even a factor this year.
I don't know.
I made the argument. Go ahead.
I don't know what it like. I don't know if Chad hasn't figured out these cars yet. If it's because Chase seems to be running good, Bowman seems to be running good now. Byron's shown glimpses of he can lead and show signs. Johnson finally led his first laps at Pocono. He didn't even sniff the top 10. He didn't even sniff it at MIS.
You know, Ryan, I made the argument at the beginning of the season like 2 races in when people are saying, "Oh, what's going on with Jimmy Johnson? What's going on with Jimmy Johnson?" I'm like, listen, he starts slow, he'll come on late, he'll come on in the middle of the season. No, man, not this year. Something's different. Something's not right. It's like a Belichick and Brady situation.
No, here we go again. But like I said, because his pit stall was just not directly in front of us, but just a little bit of ways down, and like they were doing so many things to that car, and I'm like, what the hell are they doing with this thing? And they still haven't figured out this new Camaro. I think once they do, he'll be all right. The clock is ticking.
Yeah, and they're getting to crunch time, and quick.
You know he's going to crash out at Daytona because he hasn't,
He's got bad luck there.
Well, he does.
I already did your top 5. Your standings.
Okay.
Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, Joey Logano, Brad Keselowski, Clint Bowyer, Martin Truex Jr., Kurt Busch, Denny Hamlin, Ryan Blaney, Kyle Larson, Eric Almirola, Jimmy Johnson, who somehow is still up there, Chase Elliott, Eric Jones, Alex Bowman, and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Your next race is this Sunday, Sonoma, 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern on FS1. And just a reminder for all you guys out there, this is the final race for Fox, and unfortunately it's on FS1.
Which makes no sense.
Wouldn't you want your last race of the year to be on like a national broadcast?
Yeah. Just like NBC, their first race, Chicagoland, NBCSN.
I'm not shocked by that.
Why? Because it's Chicago?
Yeah, it's one of those races that, it's entertaining when you're a hardcore racing fan, but for the casual fan, you're not looking at Chicago as the track like, oh, I can't miss this.
Yeah, like Daytona.
That was what was nice when they started with Daytona, but being that Daytona that weekend, July 4th, falls on a Wednesday.
Yeah, it's weird, like how...
kind of messed it up a little bit.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So, to keep the race in July, they had to put it there.
I'm interested to see what they're doing in the booth with Junior and the guys, because they Wednesdays with Dale. They've on NASCAR America. I always watch that great program. If you haven't watched it, good insight by Junior, everybody on the show. But I guess they've been watching races together, but they're announcing what they see. They have the TV on mute, and they're announcing what they see, which is pretty cool, just to get the chemistry going.
Yeah, and they did that. They previewed that a couple times in the last couple years, and I think it's just so cool how they do that. I'm a nerd when it comes to that side of things, like the broadcast, the announcing. It's when I was younger and still in elementary school, it was something I always wanted to do, was be a broadcaster. So it's the little things that they do to prepare that really like, that's me. That's what I like to hear. It's like what I like to see. That's how I learn.
Exactly. And we were at, when I went down to Kentucky, my buddy Jim had an extra scanner, and he was like, we'll have the TV broadcast on, and then they hear him talking, everything like that. Rick Allen is making fun of somebody's wife, or one of the producer is making fun of Rick Allen's wife, and all. They just have such a good time on it. Like, they're all joking around, they're all messing with each other, just, calm the nerves before they go live, or live, as we like to call it here on the Loose Lugs podcast.
It's live.
Yeah, they just like to enjoy themselves, and that's what it was. It was pretty cool to hear that. It's the only time I've ever heard a scanner.
Well, I'm not actually surprised by that. That's the only time you've ever heard a scanner.
Yep, I love the sound. Maybe that's why I can't hear, when Sarah tells me to do something. Yeah.
Ryan, we've been live for an hour now, or we've lived for an hour now.
Oh, we have been live for an hour.
It's time we get into some tire rub. We got some news this week to go over. What do you say?
News, let's go.
Left side. Pull this left rear fender out, left side.
All right, a couple news highlights here on Tire Rub this week. We got a potential new title name for the Cup Series in 2020. Coca-Cola has emerged as the front runner to take over the name after Monster exits the sport. If Monster exits the sport.
That's the first I've heard about the Coca-Cola rumor. What would they do with the 600 then? They still call it the Coca-Cola 600?
Well, they still called it the Winston.
That's true. It's true.
They called it the Winston Noble 5. for the longest
Yeah,
time.
yeah. The next time,
keep it.
Oh, I think so too. I think Monster's going to sign a deal, though. I really do.
The weird thing I thought with this is that Monster aren't they owned by Coca-Cola?
Yeah, it's the same company, I think.
Why? I don't know.
Yeah.
Seems like a really expensive name change.
Oh yeah.
John Leonard to take over for Travis Mack as the 95 crew chief. Casey Kane getting a new crew chief. I was kind of shocked by this.
It was effective right after the MIS race. I guess they canned him right then and there.
Yeah, because, I mean, this is a guy that Casey wanted with him. I don't know what led to this, but there's some behind-the-scenes stuff that go on that we're not privy to. Apparently something happened in that camp.
Yep.
Here's our Matt Kenseth news that I was talking about earlier. Matt Kenseth was added to 10 more races at Roush Fenway this year.
Are you surprised?
No, and I'm going to tell you my theory here. I think they're slowly weaning out Trevor Bayne.
I think so too.
I think the more the season goes, I think the less you'll see Trevor Bayne.
Of course.
It's kind of crappy.
It is.
I don't want to swear. For Trevor, I know that I think Matt Kenseth's the better driver, but you sign this deal with Roush thinking that you're going to be the full-time driver, the number 6, and now a guy who hasn't raced all season is starting to come in and push you out the door. That would irk me a little bit.
And I don't know how Matt's take is on this. I know what Trevor is, and I know Trevor was not happy at all about the news. And I wouldn't be like, it's like me at work. Like I go on a lot of deliveries in the van. It's like my boss coming up to me. It's like, well, you're only going to go to deliveries here, while the other guy's going to go to deliveries there, and there. It's just a matter of time before Bane's out.
Yeah, and I have a feeling it's going to be before the end of the season.
I do too.
The way it's going, it's early. It's early in the season.
Do you see anybody picking up Trevor Bayne?
Real quick, Patrick said in our chat, Bayne is done in Cup for the foreseeable future. I don't know if there's any team out there that needs him. You might see, like, if it were to happen, if Jack Roush were to let go of Trevor Bayne and say, look, we're buying you out of your contract. Thank you for everything you've done, but here's the door. See you later. He's kind of like going to take over like a Gray Gaulding or a Ross Chastain role, a J.J. Haley, racing 1, maybe 2 races a year, and not in contention for anything.
What about Chip Ganassi when Jamie McMurray goes bye-bye?
Nope.
You don't think that happened?
See that? Nope. I sure don't. Chip's got John Hunter Nemechek coming up. I kind of see Jamie McMurray reuniting with Roush. For this
God, I hope not. I hope not.
I really do think this is Kenseth's last year for good. If Roush doesn't re-sign him, and I think McMurray goes back to the 6.
Kenseth will run all next year, then call it her career, I think.
I hope so. I'd like to see him end it where it all started.
Do a full season, so.
If Teresa wasn't such a you-know-what, I wish Junior could have ended it with DEI.
Yeah, we know how that went.
Oh, man, I still hold a vendetta against her, and I don't even know her.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I do, too.
And our final bit of news this week, Ryan, the 2019 Xfinity and Truck Series schedules were released. No really big changes to it, from what I saw.
Not at all.
So what do you say we get into some social media, Ryan?
Oh,
We are up to 562 downloads on Podbean, iTunes, and Stitcher. We have 209 followers on Twitter, 19 subscribers on YouTube, and for some reason still 58 likes on Facebook. You just can't get that number up.
Hey, I got a question to ask you.
What's that?
Who won our giveaway?
Our giveaway was won by the right front tire, which I forgot to mention last week. Evan won that. He got it this week. Sent out a picture to us at the podcast that he got it. Cool. He thought it was cool. I didn't want it to sound like I was being rude there. No, he said it was cool. And I'm glad he enjoyed it. Thank you, Evan, for participating in it. Thank you, everyone who's followed the podcast. I completely forgot to mention it in our last episode.
Yeah, I remember that because you're like, because we
as soon as we ended, as we stopped,
we ended. AJ's like, shit! I forgot to announce who won the promotion or the giveaway. So
I had it written down and everything. Completely forgot to say it.
That was awesome too. I'm like, oops! I'm like, we can't go back live again, can we? New follower shoutouts this week. Nick Neary Racing at Nick_Neary_17. Stanley Carr at StanleyCarr17. Elaine C. Cyril? Or Gerald? I can't read my own handwriting. Oh, nice. I'm the same way at work. I'm like, what does that say? Oh, there it is.
And I say to my head when I'm writing it, I can't read my own handwriting. That's a problem. I'll fix this here. At the end, we have the Side Draft podcast at _draft. We have the Out of Left Field podcast at Out of LF podcast. And it's Elaine C. Gerald, by the way, at Elaine C. Gerald. I thought it was a J, but for some reason, when I was reading it, it looked like an S. Our podcast shoutouts this week, Ryan, we have, as always, the Lap Traffic podcast, the PTM Racing podcast, the My Opinion, Therefore Fact podcast. Don't forget to also follow their iRacing podcast, the All Turns No Breaks podcast, the Bump and Run podcast, Bright Sides Only Radio, Incredicast, NASCAR Opinion, the Final Lap Weekly, and the EG3 Show. Some places you can find us are Podbean, iTunes, YouTube, and Stitcher. Don't forget to subscribe, follow, hit the notification bell so you know whenever we go live or post a new show. You can search that in on their search bars by searching the Loose Lugs Podcast. On Twitter, we are at Lugs Podcast. You can tweet about the show with us using the hashtag LugsPod. On Facebook, we are the Loose Lugs Podcast, and our personals, which I don't even know why I say mine anymore, because I just use the podcast page as my personal.
There's AJ's, the podcast page, Twitter page. There you go.
I mean, I just tweet about everything now, and I'm lazy to change it, and that's dumb of me, but I'm Grey Goose F-150, and Ryan?
R. Rencola 88. And real quickly, Brandon, I know if you're still in here from the Lap Traffic podcast, I get terrible service out at the Speedway. When I first get there, great service. We go anywhere near the track for some reason. I think maybe just because of all the people around there. I missed the tweet up. They do a tweet up on Twitter. Unfortunately, I missed it. I have bad service. So in August, if you guys are out there, message me that Saturday, and I'll meet up with you guys out there on Sunday for the tweet up.
Man, it's the same way at Daytona. I can't get service for nothing out there.
Are you really? Daytona, you get no service? Wow.
They have their own Wi-Fi thing there. No, doesn't work.
MIS had Wi-Fi, and I couldn't connect to that for anything.
I don't know what it is. I can't ever connect. I just take a bunch of pictures and hope to God some of them send.
Yeah, exactly.
I noticed you were having trouble when I kept messaging you, and I was getting no response, and I'm like, what the hell, Ryan?
Yep. And I'm like, because I posted the picture of the seats, and then a couple of videos I posted. One video I can't post it, so basically I'm like, if you don't like NASCAR, basically 2 words for you, something like that. But I did the PG version right there. Yeah, well, it's not the PG version, so I don't want to upload that one. So, but no, it was pretty funny though. I mean, we had great seats though, so. I'll try to get some of the pictures from Sarah's phone over, and we'll post them on the podcast page.
Well, I look forward to it, man. I look forward to posting it out there for everybody. That's kind of why we couldn't do the podcast takeover for Ryan, because he just didn't have no service.
No service. Like, I missed it when Sprint was out there, because they had the Sprint towers out there. It's like, we got service. Everybody's happy and everything. Yay! Whoops, not no more.
Well, Ryan, we reached the point of the show where you do your rant.
Yeah.
Let's hear it. What do you got for us this week?
All right, well, earlier you heard me mention the ESPN guy did an article, like I said, about the lack of attendance out at Michigan this weekend, or this past weekend, 2 weekends ago now, excuse me. A lot of it has to do with weather, because all through the week, they was like, yeah, it's going to be in the 70s. sunshine, partly cloudy. Thursday came, still the same thing. Friday, cloudy. Yeah, we're going to get clouds, no rain. And a lot of it has to do with the weather. People look at the weather. They know they can walk up to the ticket offices now and get tickets. I know not for the 500. I don't know about the July race, if you can do that, AJ. If I were to go down there in July, would you be able to walk up to the ticket booth?
I think so. I think there's enough tickets left, yeah.
All right. And that's how it is right now. And people look at the weather, and that's why, like, you'll see a lot of walk-up people there, and that's what happens. Also, it's just people that don't watch the sport, write about the sport. I can't stand it. ESPN has not shown anything on SportsCenter since the Daytona 500. Yeah. And for somebody to write on there is ridiculous. Saying that they should get rid of a race at Michigan.
Yeah, now that you think about it, every Monday or every day, ESPN's on the TV at work, and I don't think I've ever seen, besides the 500, I don't think I've ever seen NASCAR promoted on it.
No, because ever since they lost the contract that, when NBC bought it back out.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, exactly. Why is this guy still writing for ESPN? So it's like the people that don't follow the sport, don't bash it. If you don't broadcast it, stop writing about it. Because I know all the people I've talked to that went out there had a blast. And NASCAR on NBC, their Facebook page, had a video shot of the cars going right by a start-finish line. That's when I posted mine. They're like, isn't that not the greatest sound in the world? I'm like, yes, it is.
I agree with you there.
And there's a couple good ones, like touchdown. Like, damn, we don't see that anymore. As I say, touchdown lines. Damn.
Hey, you got Patricia this year. You might be in luck.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how he does out of the Belichick bunch.
Well, I mean, we know how they all go.
Yeah, exactly. And like just like I said, man, if they want to bash this so much, don't watch.
Patrick brings up a good point, Ryan. He says that's why I avoid videos or articles bashing the sport. It's just too negative, and that's a good thing. Then you start speaking with your emotion instead of sitting back and just saying, that's a guy who doesn't know. That's someone who doesn't watch the sport enough and doesn't know.
Mm-hmm. And it's sad too. Everybody's like, all they do is just make a left turn. They do more than that. Because they were talking to Landon Castle because was in the simulator for Iowa, and he was like, "This is so much different than Michigan. At Michigan, I was turning right to go left. That's how fast those cars were going around there."
Yeah, well, you got to worry about oversteer at that point.
Oh, they do. So they see, hey, into the wall, look out.
Yeah, dude, I hate when people say stuff like that. This isn't a sport. This is cars going left, a bunch of rednecks just hanging out, drinking beer. Like, no, it's not that at all.
I'm proud to be a redneck and drinking beer with them. So
it's where I put it this way. When I was asked, I was actually asked on Friday. I go, "What type of vacations do you go on, or do you ever go out, go anywhere, travel?" I go, "Well, to the racetrack. That's where I want to be."
Yeah, exactly.
I find no more enjoyment anywhere else than there for a vacation. And it's for Daytona. It's right on the beach.
Of course. Well, I had the diaper party Saturday, but out at Flat Rock, they had the figure 8 buses out there. If I wasn't didn't go to the go to the diaper party, Sarah and I would have probably been out at the figure 8s for the buses.
I hear you there. But Ryan?
Yeah.
Let's talk some Sonoma. Let's get into the white flag.
Oh, yeah.
Tight, keep looking the mirrors. In line with you, coming to the white. Only 2.
All right, so the trucks are at Gateway this weekend. The cars are in Sonoma, or as Ryan likes to still call it, Sears Point.
All right.
For the truck series, Ryan, who are you taking and why?
Myatt Snyder. I'm going outside the box on this one.
Go Myatt Snyder. And that's your reason for going outside the box?
Yeah, going outside the box. Try somebody new this weekend.
I'm going with the 4, Todd Gilliland. And
okay.
two reasons why. First, I messed up his name earlier and called him Gilligan.
Logan's Island.
The second reason is he is, in recent memory, put in a string of pretty good finishes for where he needs to be to get into the playoffs. I think the next step is to finally get that win. He's in the 4 car, the car that Christopher Bell won a championship in last year.
Mm-hmm.
I really like that 4 car this weekend for the runs that he's been putting together.
Good pick. I like it.
For the Cup Series, Ryan, who are you going with?
See, that's the thing. Everybody's like, oh, jump on Allmendinger. It's a road course. He's good at doing it. I am going to go outside the box on this one. I am going to go with Kurt Busch to get the job done at the road course.
In your sleeper?
Dark horse, Paul Menard.
Wow. That is outside the box.
Uh-huh.
Wow. I like those.
And if I had a third, it'd be A.J. Allmendinger.
So, for my winner, I'm going with the 47, Allmendingeling.
And, yep, I figured that.
Why? How can I? How can I go with Allmendinger, the one track I could pick him at?
Yeah, well.
And there's no other reasoning other than he always runs good at road courses.
Mm-hmm.
Always consistent. My sleeper, though, the 22 of Joey Logano. He's always that guy who, at the end of these races here at, Watkins Glen or Sonoma, where did he come from?
Uh-huh.
He always seems to find himself there on the last restart, and that's why I picked him.
You know who else is another guy to keep an eye on this weekend? Michael McDowell.
Oh, Michael McDowell.
He does run good at these road courses. I know he runs good at Watkins Glen. I thought about doing Suarez. I'm like, I don't think he really did the road courses.
You know, Ryan, a driver I'm thinking about, too, is Bubba Wallace. This seems to be a track where the 43 has always benefited, no matter who's been in the car.
Yeah, use the Marcus Ambrose effect. Take it.
Well, everyone needs to look forward this weekend to cars wrecking, no cautions being thrown.
Yep. Making right turns, too.
Making right turns. Running out of fuel on the hump.
Oh, yeah.
When they show the camera angle of that corner that leads back out into the S's, wait for someone to hit the wall right there, because I think every year they get so close.
No! It's like...
Suarez has it. No! Oh, he missed it.
It's like, I got a thought. It's a good one, so hold on. It's like Sonoma is the short track of road courses, while Watkins Glen is the super speedway of road courses.
Yeah, that one corner at Sonoma gets me every time, because they pull that camera angle, and it's just behind the wall, but enough so you can see the cars, and every time I see the car disappear, and they come back on, I think they're going to hit that corner every time.
Oh, I know when the Indy cars are at Sonoma, they remember at turn 11 how it's that slow right-hand turn. IndyCar doesn't do that. They do the cut-across right behind where the grandstand is for the back strip. So, but no, I'm looking forward to it. The first road course of the year, 2 out of 3. Here we go. Yeah, it is. And then we got Watkins Glen, and then the
Roval.
Which, speaking of the Roval here, AJ, I did a little searching. Was it last night? Yeah, it was last night before Dave came over for Money in the Bank. Just to look at the seats, where they're going to have, if they're going to put any during the, where the new turns are at for the Roval. Nope. As far as I've seen, they're not adding any new grandstands up for that.
I don't think you need to. You're kind of so close there. You've been there.
Yeah, I've been to Charlotte. Oh, yeah.
You're kind of already very close to the track, so you don't.
Well, when I was there, I didn't really think that they were going to be running a road course there at one point. So.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to hurt it at all or affect it at all.
I don't think so.
But that's it, man. That's it for the show. We're back.
Yes, we are.
30. Road course this weekend?
Yeah, road coursing and a short track.
Yeah, no kidding. We have Gateway this weekend. That's going to be a fun one.
Yeah. Trying to think, is there any other series out there with the Cup Series this weekend? I think Modified is out there, like.
Oh, yeah.
Like a Modified. They never show it, though. They should show it. Why not?
Well, I don't know why they don't. I mean, if it's K&N, it's going to air like 2 days later.
Yeah.
So.
Unlike NBC or something. Yep.
Well, Ryan, with that being said, it's time to sign off for another episode of the Loose Lugs podcast. What do you say?
Guys, I hope everybody has a great weekend. Enjoy some road course racing. We will see you at the track.
Special thanks to everyone who joined the show tonight. Brandon, Patrick, Dub, everyone else. If I forgot you, I'm sorry. Everyone who tuned in didn't say nothing, thank you for tuning in. And we will see you next week.